Pregame.com.
Welcome to Rants of the Week. I'm Marco D'Angelo, and I'm joined by Stephen Nover. Every week, this is a fun segment for you and me. I mean, we have a lot of fun. We poke fun at different people and just have a good time. But this week, guys, this is serious. This is what's going on at Penn State. Joe Paterno, Jerry Sandusky, the whole scandal at Penn State. Just, Stephen, and I want to set the table. We did not discuss our views or what our opinions are of this before we went on air because we wanted to get each other's, shock effect or whatever to feed off of it. It's very disturbing, obviously, the news out of Penn State this week. And first thing I want to say, in no way do I condone anything that went on at Penn State. What I'm sad about in the way that this is played out is that Joe Paterno is being the guy hung out to dry for the actions of somebody else. And the battle cry is, why did Joe not do something? And it is a situation that, he could have done more than just go to the AD a day after McQuarrie told him what he saw in the shower. My thing is that in the last, we're taping on Thursday, so this story broke Saturday, and it's just been building, head of steam all week till it finally, Wednesday, yesterday was the most volatile day of this whole escapade where Joe announces in the afternoon that he's stepping down, he's going to retire at the end of the season. Emergency session with the Board of Trustees last night. They come out at 10 o'clock Eastern time, and announce that Joe Paterno's been fired, let go. Riots break out in Penn State. It just total chaos. And what's lost in this in the last 48 hours is I've heard more about what Joe Paterno didn't do, and I'm not condoning it, than we've heard about the guy that actually did all of this, Jerry Sandusky. Let's not forget who the actual criminal is in all of this. And it's a shame that Joe Paterno's legacy is going to end the way it's going to end with this.
Yeah, it's certainly sad. No one, even if you dislike Paterno, would not want to see him go out this way. It's just a horrible way to go out. My take's a little different, though, Marco, than yours. I feel it's justified with Paterno being fired immediately. This thing has gone on way too long, and it's time that Penn State took decisive action, and they have now. The president's out. Everybody in the top administration is going to be out. I guess there's some cover-up that was involved. Not saying Paterno was involved with that aspect. However, Paterno knew about it. He was told about it. He went to his AD. That's it. Now, given probably his loyalty to Sandusky being his longtime defensive coordinator, I certainly respect loyalty. I think loyalty is very important. How far do you take loyalty? If you're a guy, it's kind of an unwritten rule. You cover up for a friend or something, but you don't cover up to a crime to this extent. There's no way you do that. You not only go to your AD, you go to the president, you go to the police, you confront the coach, say, this is what I've heard. These are the allegations. These are very, very serious. You are suspended pending an investigation of these allegations. Marco, none of this was done with Paterno. He went to his AD, he left it. Didn't follow up, didn't contact police. To me, that's a fireable offense.
Well, I agree, but remember, this incident here was in 2002 when McQuarrie came to Joe with what he saw in the shower. Okay, Sandusky was already off the coaching staff, but he still had access to the Penn State University. So, Joe's thing is that he wasn't on the coaching staff, but he did go to the AD. My thing is, Penn State, why did they let this guy still on the facilities? That's the question. And one thing that's lost, and you said, the university had to do this. Okay, I agree they had to do this. They've got to save face at this point because they have dropped the ball on every point of this. And again, I can't emphasize enough, this was a heinous crime, and my heart goes out to all of those children. They're the faceless victims here that we can't forget about. But I got one thing. Why wasn't Curley fired? Why wasn't McCreary fired last night? This is a man that witnessed it and waited till the next day to go to Joe Paterno. Why didn't he, if I walk into a shower and I witness what was going on, somebody's going down right then. Right, somebody's taking a right hook and you're going to hit the ground. He's, why hasn't he been chastised in this?
Yeah, all valid points. Can't disagree with you. They all should be chastised. Unfortunately, Paterno's caught up in this too. And no, he couldn't wait to the end of the season. We couldn't picture a worse way to end a great coaching legacy. But his is the name, though. No one's heard of McCreary or anything. But what you're saying, what you are saying, is correct. Yeah, they should all be gone. It's terrible to let something like that happen.
It's a sad situation, and I know the emphasis is in it's 100. Football is a game. I understand that, and we all understand that. At the end of the day, life is always the greater game than any football game, baseball game, basketball, any sporting event. It's just a shame that a guy like Joe Paterno, who, for how many years at Penn State, I mean, the man's 84. He started coaching in his early 20s. He put the university on the map. Penn State was nothing. This is a guy that gives back to the community. I mean, he donates so much money to the University of Penn State to help other people, and that's the way when you make a mistake, you got to pay the price. And he made a mistake, like you said. The loyalty, I think, clouded his judgment. I think we haven't heard all of the whole story, but there's a reason that Jerry Sandusky was no longer on the coaching staff. Something happened. I think they knew about things back in 1999, because I can tell you Jerry Sandusky was in line. He was the heir apparent to Joe Paterno to be the next coach at Penn State. There was that was all the way back in the late 90s, but nobody knew how long Joe was gonna coach. And then he's not on the staff anymore. So
well, you have a lot of insights, Marco, being from Pennsylvania in this, but all that to me just makes it even worse. They knew it all the way back then. Something should have been done at the time, and to me that's even more justification for firing Paterno immediately.
If they did know anything, let's put it this way, it's a situation that Joe Paterno is going to have to carry with him for the rest of his life. And so many people were making a comparison to, Joe Paterno wouldn't quit coaching. They make the reference to Bear Bryant, that once Bear Bryant quit coaching, he died shortly after. This would be a very sad, sad note, because Joe Paterno is a very personable, he was like a dad, or now like a grandfather at his age. I mean, what you saw last night at his house, the rally of students that love the guy. It's just sad that it has to end this way, but it does. I understand that.
Marco, what kind of grandfather, though, would if you hear of these allegations and you even suspect them, would allow this to go on for such a long period of time without being more proactive as far as blowing the whistle on it?
I can't answer that. I can't, we don't know, obviously now we're hearing how many incidents, that there were. Did Joe only know of an isolated incident?
Come on. Do you really think that?
I don't know. We don't. I think the mistake he made is probably trying, to help a friend and maybe, say, get help. You're out of here. You can't be around children. But the university didn't take it the step further.
The university is just as much as fault, as Paterno. I don't want to, certainly I don't want to have my views come out that it's all on Paterno. It's not. It's on all of them, and he's one of them, though.
He is one of them. There's no question. But because Joe is such an icon at Penn State, when you say the word Penn State, you don't think about it's one of the best agricultural schools in America. You don't think about who the AD's name is. you put 100 people in a room, 99 of them, the first word out of their mouth, if you say Penn State, is going to be Joe Paterno. They're married forever. It's a very sad situation all the way around. It's going to be a media circus there this weekend. They got a football game to play. There's a lot of people that were saying they shouldn't play the football game. And, can you say they're right or wrong with that?
They're wrong. How is that fair to Nebraska, which has been preparing, for this game? How is it fair to the Penn State football players? Yeah, they're going to be totally distracted, and they're at a disadvantage, as far as preparation and what's going on with the turmoil. But this isn't the first time it's ever happened where a team lost their coach, during with the season going on. So no, I don't. I have a certain amount of sympathy for Paterno, but I don't have as much as you do, Marco. I mean, this is a very warped sense of loyalty to allow this to occur on your watch, and I won't justify it. I can't justify it.
I don't justify what he did in any means of it, but I just think it's, again, to reiterate, it's sad that there's more outcry for what Joe didn't do than the guy that actually did it. And what really irritates me, there was an interview that, a reporter went to Sandusky's house over the weekend. Mm-hmm. He came out to talk to the reporter. He had one of the most smuggest looks on his face, and his answer was, on my attorney's, advice, I'm not allowed to talk on this subject. And he was just as cool as a cucumber and smug like nothing ever happened. And I'll tell you, there's only one other person I've ever seen as guilty as that had that kind of smug look on his face every time somebody talked to him, and that was O.J. Simpson during the murder trials.
Well, if I'm the cops, and I have Sandusky in prison, jail, in a cell by himself, I'm coming there and I'm saying to him, I says, look, you've ruined the life of a lot of innocent victims. You've ruined the university, a lot of people there. You've ruined your good friend Joe Paterno. Now you've ruined his legacy. Here's a belt. Go do the right thing. I'm going to close the door and come back in an hour. You do the right thing now. That's how I'd handle that guy.
When he gets to prison, he'll get his. He'll get his. But just a bad situation all the way around. Again, thoughts and prayers to all of the people that were affected by this, the faceless victims, as they want to say, the children. It's just, that should never happen, and disappointed in Joe Paterno that he didn't do more. I'm just outraged that when they came down and did the firings that they did last night, that it was not across the board, and how McCreary was not included in that being fired is beyond me. Here is a guy that witnessed it, waited a day, took it to Joe, and then that was it until a grand jury 9 years later.
Yeah, I don't know what the circumstances were with the individual McCreary. Maybe he, was threatened, lost a job, or we just don't know that. Certainly on the surface, it's not justified. He should have definitely, reported all that. They all should have, Marco.
No question. Sad situation, guys, and sorry to have such a political and downer type rant of the week, but I mean, you can't turn the radio, TV, ESPN on and not hear this story. And and one sidebar, I'm a Pitt fan, and Pitt and Penn State, those were rivals way back in the day. And to this day, as much as respect as I have for Joe Paterno as a coach and what he did, his legacy as a coach, forget everything else. I'm pissed at Joe Paterno for ending. To me, he is the reason that the Pitt-Penn State rivalry ended. That was a big rivalry back in the 80s, and and what happened was Penn State was on a higher plateau than Pitt was, and Joe wouldn't renew the contract unless Pitt agreed to playing 2 out of every 3 at Penn State, and obviously the Pitt alumni, and board of directors could never agree to that, and that was the end of the Pitt-Penn State, rivalry.
Well, Penn State's not going to be so high and mighty to dictate terms like that again.
No, it won't. And he's Stephen Nover. I'm Marco D'Angelo. This has been the Rant of the Week. We'll be back next week, hopefully with a fun topic and be poking fun at people in a fun manner. But guys, enjoy the week. Good luck with the games. We'll be back next week.